Why doesn't Eric work? Aggravating to see the woman with a job.
Welcome to this week's video. This is a very ominous intro here, Eric. So we are making tacos for dinner tonight, but we are also answering some of your guys' questions. So we asked you to submit some questions, and thank you so much for submitting them. We have them divided into 3 sections. So the first one that we're going to talk about is our cargo trailer build. Got a few questions for that. Then later on, we're gonna answer any questions that are about life on the road. And then the last section is like personal questions. So let's get started with the first one. We have some questions about the stats of our trailer. So Eric, what is the height of our trailer?
So the interior height when we bought it was supposed to be 6'7". Personally, I think they kind of shorted us on that. I don't know how good they did of the job on that. But the overall height with the solar panels on top, everything, can't be perfect in measuring it, but it's approximately 9'3", 9'4" inches. But we just assume it's 9.5 feet tall. That way we don't run into any low bridges or anything like that.
Yep. So then the next question is, why did you opt for the 7 feet width instead of 8+ feet?
So trailers come in a few different sizes pretty standardly. It is like a 6 foot wide, a 7 foot wide, and an 8.5 foot wide. There's some differences. Ours is what's called the outrigger, where the wheels are as wide as like an 8.5 foot trailer, but the trailer portion itself is only 7 feet wide. And the reason why we did that is because at 7 feet wide, we can fit the king size bed. And that was really important. We needed the king size bed because of Tinkerbell and Maple coming up in bed. Plus, it's going to give us a bigger garage space underneath anyways. And so 7 feet was as wide as we needed it to go. Could we have gone larger? Yes. But then you start getting the other drawbacks of having a wide trailer when you're going down very narrow, like dirt roads and Forest Service roads. Even if the wheels are as wide as 8.5, all sorts of brush and other things that kind of lean over the road, especially up high where the tops of the trailer is, can be more narrow than that. So 7 foot is kind of that nice where we got everything we needed, but didn't go wider than we had to.
With anything in our build, we really tried to size it in a way that we had enough room to fit everything that we wanted and needed, but not more. So because we really wanted to embrace having a small footprint as much as possible.
Oh, are you coming in? Because you smell the pork, Tinkerbell? Lay down. Thank you, girl.
All right, next question. What is the weight of the trailer? And let me preface that by, we were not very weight conscious when we built the trailer. We knew that we didn't have to be because our tow vehicle is capable of towing like really large loads. And we did opt for some upgraded axles. So weight wasn't like that much of a concern to us.
Correct. Yeah. So, typically an axle is a spring leaf axle, and that's going to give you like 3,500 pounds per axle worth of like weight carrying. But we went with torsion axles because they're a little bit more robust, and they do 5,200 pounds per axle. And since we're 2 axles, that means about 10,400 pounds, which means the gross weight, because the axles and everything, could be around 11,000, which is way more than we knew it was gonna weigh. And you don't want to have your weight too close to the maximum. Like if we did leave springs and we were as heavy as we are, we'd be pretty close to that maximum all the time, and they'd wear out faster. That's why we went that way. And it does weigh about 6,000 pounds is what we account for. It probably weighs closer to 5,800 though.
Yeah, it depends a little bit on what we have in here and like if we're filled up on water and that type of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Man, those onions are making me cry. All right, next question. What did the electrical system cost? So I'm going to go a little bit further out on this just to give a little bit more context. So the trailer, empty, but like custom made, cost us around $8,000. And then the build, so everything that you see on the inside and all that, like furniture and whatsoever, cost us about $22,000, but we did make some upgrades after the fact. So it's probably about $25,000 in total. Of those $25,000, it's probably around like 6,000 for the electrical system. So that means our solar panels, our wiring, inverter, all the batteries, and that stuff.
Yeah, and the batteries were the most expensive part of the whole thing by far. When we got the LifePro batteries, they were brand new technology, and they were like, what, $1,200 a piece or something like that.
I think they were even more expensive.
They might have been more expensive. They were
so
very expensive. You can get the same batteries for like $500 or $600 now. Like, I think you are right. I think they were $1,800 a piece.
They were like so expensive. It was like criminal. But they are now like down in price, so you don't have to like feel completely robbed when you buy them.
Yes, and that is like I said, that was the most expensive part of the build, electrical system wise. So you could probably do the same thing that we have for quite a bit cheaper nowadays. Probably.
Yeah, probably. Who knows how the prices are nowadays with, you know, all that other stuff going on. All right. So, and we are already at the last question regarding the trailer build. And this is a question we get asked all the time on social media. And it's such a funny question to me because I never even thought about it really before we have gotten this question repeatedly. People are always concerned about how we are preventing people from stealing our trailer. Like, they are afraid that, you know, like, people will come and just, like, hook up the trailer and, like, drive away with it, like, while we're not here, or sometimes even while we're in here. And, well, in almost 2 years of living on the road, it has never been a problem for us.
Yeah, not even been close where we've like caught someone like looking like they're coming up to our trailer to like steal it or anything.
It has
like
never
nothing.
been a thing. We do use a hitch lock, so people couldn't just drive up and like hook up and drive away. Like, there would be some extra steps.
Yeah, they'd have to have a bolt cutter or a grinder, probably a grinder actually, because the bolt is pretty thick. I don't know that a bolt cutter would actually go through that.
Don't give them instructions, okay, Eric? So either way, it's not that easy to steal the trailer. And also the other thing is we are usually in the middle of nowhere. So someone would have to, you know, like see us, scout us out.
And have the equipment.
Have the equipment, realize that we're going to be gone for a while. And so we have never really, you know, like ran into a situation where we felt like people were like scouting us out or anything. If we were, we would probably just leave. So, but yeah, has never been an issue for us. Has never been really a fear for us. I hope it never will become something that we have to think about.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
No.
So.
All right, Eric, is that enough onion?
Yeah, there's plenty of onion.
Okay, so then what else do you need me to prep?
We need to prep the jalapeno crema next.
Okay, you want me to cut some jalapeno for that?
Yes. So, but that was the last question.
That was the last question for the trailer build.
All right, we will finish prepping up, and we'll see you outside for the cooking and the next category.
Mm-hmm. Okay, Eric, ready for the next question?
Shoot it down.
How do you control moisture and smells in the trailer? So this is a challenge. So everyone who lives in a camper or in a van or whatsoever knows that moisture is always a little bit of a problem because you live in a metal box. So we have thought about that very hard when we built it, and we were able to use Havelock wool as an insulation. And Havelock wool is pretty moisture resistant. Like, it takes in the moisture and then it releases it later when it's drier and it dries out completely. So there's
it doesn't mold.
Yeah, it's completely mold resistant. We also, when we put our mattress in, we made sure that we used slats, that there's a lot of air circulation underneath.
And with it being the garage underneath too, it's a big open air underneath our mattress, so we don't get mold under the mattress like a ton of different builds.
We don't really have any mildewy smell at any point in time that we need to be concerned about. But we definitely get situations where we have very high moisture content in the air. And what helps us the most is in the winter we use our diesel heater. So the diesel heater has very dry heat in comparison to like a propane heater, which will have like very wet heat.
Yeah, like a little buddy or something like that.
So that dries out the air a ton and helps us a lot. And then in the summer, the best thing you can do is air circulation. You know, open up the windows, open up your fan, make sure that the air is circulating. That's like what has been working for us. I wouldn't say it's perfect, but I would say it's pretty good.
Yeah, and if we are in a situation where we are using our AC does have a dehumidifier function built in, and I have it where it's just right underneath the trailer. It goes right down and out, so that does dehumidify us a little bit too.
Yep. So those are pretty much like the things that we use. Okay, Eric, next question. How long does your fresh water last when you are off-grid?
So we have a 42-gallon tank, and that means we got about 40 and a half of usable, and we use probably about 4 gallons per day if we're being pretty conservative. So I would say anywhere between a week and 10 days is about how long we go. But luckily, we have a 6-gallon jerry can, and we're usually pretty close to some civilization, and if I gotta run errands, I'll fill that up and keep topping us off, and then whenever we're en route, we can fill up usually. All right, Senta, last question's for you. How do we handle mail on the road?
Okay, so that's a question that actually we get asked a lot, and understandably so, because it is, you know, a little bit of a logistical challenge. So we have a mail service that we pay for. And basically what they give us is, it's almost like a P.O. box. They're located in Florida. They're called My RV Mail. And we pay around like $225 a year. And then we still have to pay for postage. So they get our mail, they scan it in for us. We can see online like what they scanned, and they're nice enough to like remove obvious like spam and stuff like that. So that makes it really nice. And then we decide once we have the scan whether they should send it to us or whether they can just destroy it. And so most of the time, a lot of times we can just destroy it, but if it's like something more important, like for example, our like health insurance cards came in with the mail the other week, so we had to pay them to like ship it to us. And then usually what they do is they ship it via USPS, and then we ship it to a local post office where we can pick it up via general delivery. And so how much postage you spend with them per year obviously depends on, you know, like how many pieces of mail you have. We usually don't try to send packages there because it can get very expensive, but you can't always avoid it. We spend about $100 per year on postage with them. And most of the time we try to get our packages directly via Amazon lockers or USPS general delivery, pick it up there, or UPS and FedEx pickup locations.
Guten Appetit.
Guten Appetit. We've been on a taco trip like these last few weeks because Eric started making this jalapeno crema, which is just jalapeno with sour cream and garlic, right?
Jalapeno, garlic, and a little bit of salt. You can add lime juice to it. I find it doesn't need it.
It's so good. I mean, like, we've been addicted to it.
And like I said, it is missing our pickled onions, but it's pretty good without it.
It's better with, but it's good without it. All right. So, ready for the first question? Okay, so lots of dog-related questions. So this is all the personal questions. So the first one is, how old is Tinkerbell? You've mentioned before she can't do long hikes due to her age.
So she is 8 years old. She turned 8 back in the beginning of October, like October 7th or 13th or something like that as her birthday. I don't remember exactly, but it's early to mid-October. And Maple is close to the same age too, if you're curious. She turns 8 in December, so in the next like 2 weeks pretty much.
Yes. And so with Tinkerbell, so even though they're almost the same age, Tinkerbell just doesn't have the stamina anymore to like do long hikes. She's usually limited to like 2 to 3 miles depending on elevation gain and like the ground, if it's like soft sand or if it's like nice compact. And so it's just, like better for her when we do those long hikes, for her to stay in a trailer and like be happy there and sleep.
She loves to just be in the
Yeah.
trailer and sleep anyway, so
Yes.
it's not a big deal.
But she does love going on short hikes.
She definitely loves that too, no doubt, no doubt. What is our second question as you got your mouth full over there? I'll get it. Okay. So, have you encountered any problems with people complaining about the dogs being left in the trailer when they're not allowed on certain hikes? Good segue with saying that she loves being in there. So she doesn't really make any noise as far as we know. She's super calm in the trailer and everything. So I don't think most people even know she's in there.
Yes.
If we-
Also, a lot of times, we like close up the windows when we know she is somewhere where there are people. Like we close up the blinds and then like just leave the window open a little bit and let the fan running. So people most of the time probably don't even know that she's there.
And if we leave both dogs, then, Maple can get a little anxious and anxiety and might bark a little bit, but nobody has said anything to us.
Yeah, like we've never had that. But again, like we're most of the time in the middle of nowhere. We went to one campground once where they actually explicitly said that you are not allowed to leave your dog in the trailer, like without being there. And that was a little bit of a struggle logistically, and now we make sure that we don't stay at those campgrounds. So, all right.
Okay.
Then, next question. Are you finding it to be a challenge having dogs along? So
Most definitely, but
it's a worthwhile challenge.
Yes.
So it is definitely more planning involved with dogs. I mean, you have to keep in mind, like many national parks are not dog friendly at all. So a lot of times we can't do national parks, or if we do national parks, we have to plan around it. We don't want to leave them alone for too long. So we can't do, like complete day hikes that take us, like 12 hours, because it would be completely unfair to them to leave them alone for 12 hours.
right, exactly.
So we have to make some compromises there. But that being said, they are well worth it, and they are actually one of the big reasons that we built the trail and that we wanted to do this lifestyle, because we wanted to take them with us to explore. We wanted them to have, like to live their best life, to like go out, explore the desert,
Get
like
all the sniffs, you know?
like see
Pee on all the trees.
see the Atlantic, see the Pacific, see snow. We wanted that for them. And so, like, yes, it is a challenge. I'm not gonna, romanticize it too much, but it is obviously well
worth the challenge.
Yes.
100%.
Yeah. Okay. Next question. Tinkerbell.
Come here, girl.
Someone
Good
is
girl.
roaming a little bit.
Yeah, a little too far. Hey, Maple. Yes, I know that you're being a good girl.
All right. Tinker, all the way.
Good girl.
Good job.
Good girl.
She thinks she's gonna get food.
She thinks she's getting food because we're praising her, and she's
Tink,
like, I
lay
did such a
lay
good job.
down.
Lay down, girl. Lay down. Hey, down.
all the way.
Good girl. Stay.
Thank you. Thank you, Maple. Okay.
Yeah, challenge.
Next question. Where is Senta from? She doesn't have an American accent. No, I do not. So I'm German. I grew up in Germany, and I've lived there for the first 20-ish years of my life. Then I did a quick 2 years in the Netherlands for studying. And then I moved to the States for my job, and I've been here ever since. And that is now almost a decade ago. So I don't know if you want to add something to it, but your mouth is full anyways.
Nope.
Okay.
I'll answer the next.
Well, the next one, okay, go ahead.
Why doesn't Eric work? Aggravating to see the woman with a job. So, when we did our tiny home tours, tons of people were like, oh, they didn't get, we made a joke that I'm a trophy husband in training. And they think that I'm just lazy and I don't do anything. And I'll let Senta cover how she feels about that, unless you want to take a bite.
No, I'll do it. Okay, so, all right, so short answer, why doesn't Eric have a job? We don't need the second income. We are fortunate enough that I make enough money that I more than cover our bills, and then we still have left over for savings and investments and all that stuff. We live comfortably, we live well within our means, and we made the decision together that Eric would give up his career, I would keep my career, so we can do this lifestyle more sustainably. So just because Eric doesn't have a traditional W-2 job doesn't mean he doesn't work. He works very much and very hard. He is responsible for all the chores in a camper. he like cooks, he does laundry, he like takes care of the water, he takes care of, like changing the toilet out and all that stuff. And I don't have to do that. I don't have to worry about it. And most of the time, he takes care of it without me even, having to do anything. I obviously help out if I need to, but most of the time I don't have to.
Mm-hmm. Repairs are another big one.
Yeah. The other thing that he takes care of is he does most of the editing for our long form videos. And that takes up quite some time. So I do some, editing on the back end. Like basically I'm the one like cutting out some scenes and whatsoever, but he does the bulk work there. And then lastly, he also takes care of some rental properties that we have back in Cincinnati. And that's not that much work, luckily, because we're pretty well set up.
We automated a lot of things, so my job there is pretty easy. I just got to coordinate with the cleaner every now and again, making sure that the schedule's good, and they run themselves.
Yes. So now, how do I feel about this? Obviously, I feel completely fine about this. We are a partnership. We're married. We have been married for a long time. When we married, we joined our finances. And some people don't like that, and that's totally fine. But for us, my money is his money is my money. Has always been the case. We always had that, how do you say that? Like that mindset.
Mm-hmm.
And that has never been an issue. We have very similar spending habits. Like, if he wants to spend money on something, he spends money on something. If I want to spend money on something, I spend money on something.
Yeah, and if it's a bigger ticket item, we always consult each other anyways. And we're usually on the same page with those type of things that are bigger that we need.
Yes.
So financially, that was never an issue. And so financially, her being the breadwinner has never been an issue for us.
Yes. So I always find it funny when then people get mad about it on the internet and get mad about it on my behalf. Because if I was mad about it, if that wasn't something that works for us, and also the same thing for you, why do they think we would be in this situation?
Yeah.
So
yeah, it's a funny one. And if the roles were reversed, probably no one would say anything if I still had the job and Senta didn't have the job. Which is kind of a funny role reversal of the typical housewife to house husband type of a thing.
So that's basically it. So if you were curious about it, now you know that is why Eric doesn't have a traditional job.
Mm-hmm.
But that was the last one of our questions, and our dogs are roaming again, but
they're
that's
still
okay.
fine.
Yeah, they're still. We can still see them. So we're gonna finish up dinner here because I only ate one.
I scarfed down, and I was a total mess and just savage while we were filming this. So lucky you guys.
But yeah, so if you have any more questions, feel free to drop them.
Drop them down below. We're happy to do another Q&A if we keep growing and get more and more questions about different aspects of this life.
We've always been very transparent, and when you ask questions, we usually always answer them. So feel free to ask whatever you want, and we would love to see you in the next video. We're gonna have some fun outdoor stuff planned, so not another Q&A.
All right, we'll see you guys next time.
Next time.